first thing you try to do is find the old well log, which that can be an adventure at times, but I'll just pass this around. So we did our search at the office for the old well log. We found one that said 6505 Buckley Road, which is this address right here. But it was drilled by William Crane back in the 70s and went 120 feet deep. So we're like, that's not kind of the information we've been getting. You know, we got other information about this well. So anyways, luckily ODNR came today, our good friends at Ohio Department of Natural Resources. Hello? Can you hear me okay? And I got them to get on their phones and look it up. Lo and behold, they found the log from here. Of course, it's a different address. I don't know why that is. It could be it was one big chunk of land over time and things got subdivided. Maybe another reason is back in the 70s and 80s, some of the drillers, you know, might have been drinking something and maybe they didn't even know what address they were at or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, we think we found what this well is, because when we measured it, it's 88 feet, and that matches the log going around. It shows 7 feet of slotted pipe in the bottom, which slotted pipe was the standard back then. And I believe it said either 5 5/8 or 6-inch casing, which that matched. So we're pretty good with what we got going there. So typically we do like to gravel pack the screens. So that'll be, in this case, the slotted pipe. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's give a measurement on the well for the, show the depth here. And you do, when you're doing all this, at least have to take cryptic notes, because when we're done with all this, we do have to turn in a abandonment log with Ohio Department of Natural Resources.
Hey, Dave. So, why do you gravel pack the screen or the slotted pipe?
Just because that's typically where the aquifer is, and we like to leave that flowing without grout in it. It's probably not that important on a residential well, but on bigger municipal wells and stuff like that, it's a good idea to gravel pack the screen and not grout them.
One other reason for gravel packing a flowing well screen is there's a possibility it could shut off the flow just by covering the screen, which is to your advantage when you're grouting.
88. All right. Does anybody have the log right now? There it is. What do we have on there? 88 feet deep. So that's another thing when you fill out the paperwork for ODNR. It's all, if you actually have the old log, you put the old log number or you attach a copy of it when filling out the old log. So the gravel packing is relatively easy. And here you don't have to worry about sizing the gravel pack to the aquifer formation of the screen. It's basically any old gravel pack will do. Generally, the coarser the better because it sinks better. When we get ready to fire the grout pump up, the type of pump we use, the official name is called a progressive cavity pump. There's a manufacturer called Moyno, that's spelled M-O-Y-N-O, so a lot of people just call them Moyno pumps. But I have an example of what the pump is over here. The shiny part, it kind of looks like a pigtail or a screw. That's the internal pumping mechanism. And on the table on the side here, that's actually rubber on the inside, and it has the same contours as the chrome screw. So when the motor or the hydraulics pump or the hydraulics motor turns the screw, that's what builds the pressure of the fluid inside of there. We've never used buoys, so, but we like moinos. We don't use a buoy, no. But we don't do residential wells either, so. Now, so these guys are mentioning the buoy pumps. They are different. They're basically two rubber gears that turn, and that is what creates the pressure. You have a hopper full of fluid, the two rubber gears turn, and then they send the fluid out the bottom. And they are good pumps. They don't do the same pressure as a moino pump does, but a lot of applications you don't need the extra pressure. So you kind of pick the pump for your application. The third type of pump is actually a piston pump, which a lot of the concrete pumpers use for the foundations and buildings and stuff like that, and they are literally just a piston, like on your engine, that goes back and forth, and the material dumps in, the piston pushes it, and it sends the material down the line. So that's the three major types of grout pumps that are used. If you're doing a high volume grout job, where you might need 10 yards, 20 yards, 30 yards, that is where the piston pumps are ideal, because you can get ready mix truckloads of grout to the job site, and then the piston pump can pump 10 yards down in like a half an hour. So for large volume grout jobs, actually the piston pumps are the preferred pump. I've also got some samples on the table here of different kind of grouts. So what we're mixing today is just cement and water. That's the one in the middle. There's little samples of it you can look at. The last batch, I think we're going to put some bentonite in it. So that'll be a cement bentonite mix, and I'll go over the mix. And then the other one is a sand and gravel mix. That's more like a ready mix, that you would just buy for like, normal ready mix applications. It's not really a well grout, but it's just an example. I had an example of it, of what it looks like. It's a lot prettier than the other two, so I brought it along. So we got 6 feet of fill with 2 feet per bag. Came up to 82. I thought it would be enough, but I was wrong. We got one bag left. I know, but... So we do have a little game to play here, if anybody likes games. I've got the 3 cylinders of the different kinds of grout. So if you're into games, why don't you pick up the 3 different cylinders and see what you think they weigh. And then I got a scale there. You want to guess out loud? You want to guess out loud what it weighs?
I'm going to say 3.5 pounds.
All right, put her on there. What is it?
4.5.
4.5.
Pretty good guess.
So if you were, if you were a guessing person here, he just did the one with the aggregate in it. Now he's going to pick up the one with cement and water. Before you say anything, what does everybody else think it'll weigh? Think it'll weigh more, or do you think it'll weigh less? What do you think it'll weigh?
2.5 pounds.
What? Okay, now what? What does it weigh?
About 3.5.
3.5. So it's a whole pound lighter than the aggregate grout. And that's because you've added aggregate to it.
Right.
Okay, now the real tricky one. Cement and bentonite. Before you say anything, what does the crowd think it'll weigh? 2.5? So you think it'll weigh less? Anybody else? Less or more? Less. Less? Same? All right, what do you think it's going to weigh?
A little over 2 pounds.
Well, put it on there.
3.5.
And the winner is right here. So the bentonite didn't really make that much difference when it came to the grout mix. Now, just so you guys know, there will be another game. It is going to be after the dinner we have, and maybe after a few drinks. And we'll see who the strongest person here is, but they'll have to put the screw inside the pump, and we'll time it. So whoever does it fastest can win that game by putting the pump together. So that'll be maybe an after-dinner game we'll play. All right, so are we ready?
79.
What are we up to?
79.
79 feet. We're a little above the slots. What the guys are going to do here is we got a water tank on the back, and they have measured out 25 gallons of water in the hopper. Right now they're putting the hose down. We like to go about 10 feet off bottom because you want the grout to be able to propel into the bottom of the well and not plug the bottom of your pipe. So if we can do our math right, we're going to go to Wyatt. What are we going to put that down to?
66 feet wide. Tell him. Tell Grandpa. Don't let
Let's
him
see,
get
we
away with that
filled it up
crap.
to 80, right? Or what was it?
79.
79.
It was still filling also. The green.
Okay. So let's say we're going to go to about 65, and I think those are 25 foot long. But we also had like a 5-foot pipe on there. Either that, or I guess we can put it on bottom and then pull it up 10 feet.
There you go.
I'd say that's the wall.
All right, let's pull it up 10 feet then. So what the mixing crew is going to do, we've already put 25 gallons of water in there, and we'll mix 4 bags of cement, which is like basically the 6 gallons of water per bag of cement. So starting this up, it's going to get noisy, but we're going to mix basically a 4-bag batch. Not yet.
Well, what he's saying, there's a 4-bladed paddle on the inside of the hopper that turns that mixes the cement with the water. Not sure why, but they have to run the paddle backwards to mix cement. They're kind of doing 4 bags of that. While they do that, we'll look at the different grouts.
Well, apparently when you mix this recipe, 6 gallons per bag of cement, I guess if you translate that into mud weight, like you're mixing mud, I guess it comes out somewhere around 13 to 15 pounds a foot. So it's almost double what water is. So when we put this one down,
So this paper here tells you about the mixing hopper, the grouter that pumps the grout down the well to abandonment. think I'm gonna go ahead and pause this while they finish mixing, and maybe do a second video for them to actually do the cementing, the actual abandonment.